Hello, this is my sketchbook tour. Usually I see other artists post videos of their own sketchbook tours, which give you an insight into their progression in painting and what's been going on through their mind. But I'm not much of a sketchbook person. I just paint wherever it is convenient, and my sketchbooks usually have various practice drawings, things that aren't presentable and I wouldn't like necessarily to show people. But I recently was thinking that if there's anything I have close to a finished sketchbook, it's this one. So I wanted to maybe make a quick sketchbook tour. I hope you guys enjoy it. So this sketchbook I bought particularly because I wanted to try the Inktober challenge. I think it's 2018, I'm not sure. 2018, yes. This sketchbook was really good for ink, especially the type of ink that I was using. I was using the ink pens, the Japanese style ink pens, and this sketchbook was perfect for it. So to begin, I just was testing it. So the one thing that is very visible in this sketchbook is that I was going through a hard time. So there's some abstract drawings like these that are about feeling isolated, or I don't know, feeling like you're putting on a face that is not really what is within you. This one was inspired by I hope I'm not mispronouncing, it's Cersei, but not Cersei Lannister, Cersei from the Homer's book Odyssey. So in Odyssey, Homer comes across it comes to an island where there's a beautiful witch lives there, and his men eat from her food and they turn into pigs. And that character is, I think, probably the most interesting character in Odyssey. And I think it's probably inspired Spirited Away, where her parents turn into pigs. This one is gouache and the ink pens. This one's also just an emotional piece. This one is, I think, black gouache, ink pen, and then red, either gouache or watercolor. I think it's vermilion. I was just using two colors for this one. I wasn't interested in seeing what effect I can get, but it turns out with just vermilion and like a black color, you can get a very natural looking portrait, because depending, I guess, on your black, but in this one it works. It just like does a good color of giving like colder shadows, and then the vermilion complements it and makes the skin look more natural. This one was portrait practices, nothing special, but just trying to see how I can use the ink brush pen to make different faces. I'm actually very happy with how it turned out. I'm not sure if at this point in time, if I try, I could make them. I think at that time I was getting very good with my brush pens. These two are also just practice pieces. This one is, I think, just the micron pen. That's why it's very thin. And this one is a mix of brush pen and microns. 2018. This one is a self-portrait of me trying to sleep at night. I'm kind of really happy, even though it's one of the ones I don't remember drawing, but looking back at it, I'm very happy. I was improving in drawing curly hair at that point, and it was something that I really wanted to represent more in my art. And these like stripes in the background, I think, have a very nice effect as well. This one's another one, I think, like a practice from a Pinterest image. I did a black and white version like this, and then I did a gouache version, and I think another watercolor version of it, to see how I would handle the same image in different mediums. This one's the one of the ones I'm not very proud of. I mean, it's fine, but the perspective's just off, the proportions are off, but It is what it is. This is 2019 already. This is another one that I'm not very proud of, but again, yeah, the theme of me trying to draw curly hair. This one I drew without even thinking much about it. Like, there was no plan. I was just sketching, and I think I even like added these flowers after, but it worked out really well. I quite like it. It was, I think, at a very difficult time as well, and I think the masking of your face is something that, it's a theme that for whatever reason comes to me when I'm having a hard time. I really like this one. This is, again, at the time I was having a very hard time, and to me, being depressed and having anxiety felt like being hung up upside down, like in a very dark, maybe even bottomless space. And I think I had at the time seen some photos of you know, the yoga things they do, or like the exercise they do with the ribbons or whatever. I'm not sure what it's called, and I thought the image was so beautiful, so I incorporated that in this piece. Is another one of the masked face and emotional ones. I did not like this one at all at the time, especially I think I hate these sleeves here. I'm not sure what's happening, but the rest of it, like from here up, now I really like these. The shadowy figures behind were supposed to be like sort of give that sense of when you are, you know, like pretending to be normal and there's people around you and they have no idea what is going on, or not, or they don't even care. It's like you are like having, you feel like there's this veil that's separating you from everyone around you. You could be in a crowd, but it feels so surreal and you feel so detached from the reality around you. This is another one in the series. This one I think was about having either anxious or painful or complicated thoughts. This sense of wanting to overcome it, and you wish like you could just get rid of those negative spirals that go in your head. And at that time I think I had this idea of not going violent with images of pain, but beautiful. So wines were a big theme, so it's like painful thoughts, but they look like wines rather than like thorns. And yeah, along the same lines, this is feeling paralyzed, or feeling like you can't really move or do anything, or trapped because of your negative emotions. Okay, finally, this is 2019, October 3rd. This was, I think, Inktober. Prompt was bait, where I tried to reverse, I guess, the themes of like catching a fish. I'm not super proud of this. It looks weird and the drawing's not super neat, but I still like it. I thought it was a fun idea to work around. And the next one's again about having anxiety and feeling overwhelmed by this overhanging sense of helplessness, and like your brain is, you know, taken over. This one, I don't even know what it is. This is like, I'm not proud of it. I don't even know what it meant at the time. So yeah, we're just gonna pass that. I think I might have just been in a mood for drawing little things, and it drew a bunch of faces. And I think here it's just ink brush pen. I didn't use gouache, although when I'm looking back, the ones where I would use black gouache look a lot more beautiful, because the ink brush pen does not reach as I don't know if it's visible, but yeah, it's not as uniform. It leaves like shiny traces, while gouache, for example, yeah, like here I think it's gouache and it's a lot more uniform and flat. So yeah, I think if I pick up this style again, I'm gonna rely on gouache more than just simply ink and brush pen. And here are just shitty practice pages, as I said earlier, that like I don't try to keep my sketchbooks for like beautiful drawings, so sometimes just feel like you want to draw. So here are my terrarium drawings. I had a big terrarium love at that time, and I still love those styles. I might go back to it. Little natures in the bottle. I just feel like they're very simple and they still look elegant. Little fox in the bottle. This one's one of my favorite drawings, although I'll get to more story of it. This one was inspired by Fleet Fox's song called White Winter Hymnal, which goes something like, I was following the crowd. There's like snow and scarves of red and stuff, and I always thought an image of like this little wolf who is like, you know, in a revolutionary civilian army or something. They see their friend die in front of them, and then I drew this one. But recently, I'm not like American, but my partner is, and he was telling me that this looks like a Confederate uniform, and now I feel sad because this is one of my favorite pieces and I don't want it to like signify to people negative ideas. But you know, what am I supposed to? I guess I could redraw it at some point, but I don't think I could achieve that level of delicacy. I guess I have become less and less delicate in my art as time has passed. This is another of my favorite pieces. There's a lot wrong with it. I think just like it looks best if like you look from here up again, but it was one of those earlier pieces where I could see that if I took this seriously, maybe I can become an illustrator. And it is still my dream. I am not an illustrator, but I could see that I could be developing a children's book style if I tried. So yeah, that's made this one of my favorite. This is the page that was supposed to be something but never ended up. So this page, I like it. It's not my favorite because it feels a little bit generic, but at this point I was practicing some new drawing styles. I was working based on a drawing practice or a little PDF. I think it was from Frankentoon, and it was free, I think, at the time. I'm not sure if it's still free. And essentially it was one where you would draw ellipses and form everything with those like shades and, you know, ghosting sort of to make sketches. And I think doing that really changed my art style. So this is an early year image I did while trying to incorporate what I learned there. This one is also one of my favorite ones. I don't know what says was supposed to have like that D&D like feeling, like this girl who has a map and a sword and has discovered the treasure. And at the same time, I think this blue monster was still that lingering sense of depression that I was still struggling, but to a much lesser degree. But what I really liked was, I think these colors worked great together, and the transition into a sort of a turquoise to a darker one, in my personal opinion, worked. What I don't like is the texture. I don't know why I did that. I think I had no idea what to do with the background. I didn't want to just leave it white because she doesn't have much of a shadows or tones on her, so I wanted her to stand out. And I'm assuming, I was thinking this is like a cave floor, but it just looks off. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones, but there is again something off about it. This is where I moved into trying to illustrate a story of my own. This one I was thinking was Adventure Kids, which was about 4 little kids who are in a forest, and they are come across different adventures. Not much came out of that idea, but it was sort of a cross between Over the Garden Wall and Adventure Time. I really like that monster still, but the image style in this one is really not my favorite style. This was supposed to be the either the previous or next panel. I think it's the previous panels from that one where the kid is running away, and then there's like a shadowy monster following them, and then like in a more clear scene you get a glimpse of what the monster looks like. This one I like, but it's terrible. Like, what's going on here? Like, is the monster the kid, or is the monster the monster? But this is also, I think, part of the Adventure Kids. I think this mix of red and gray works well, but here it does not particularly work very well. This is my Witcher. I think it might be the only Witcher photo I've drawn, but I am a big fan of the Witcher games, and yep, this is my Geralt. This one was not particularly planned out in advance. I was out with my friends in a bar, and we were doing an activity where I had some time to sketch stuff out, and yeah, that is really simply me just randomly sketching stuff. I do like it. I think it's turned out better than I expected, but I'm really not sure what to do with something like this. I'm not a into pattern design or something like that, so I'm not sure where I would go with it. This one is really one of my top favorite arts. This is 2020 already. What was the prompt for this day? October 3rd again. I think it might have been Willow Wisp. I think so, because I think that's why. I know it's not the theme of the image that I have, but I think it was Willow Wisp. I really wanted to do an Inktober drawing. I really wanted to do a little girl in a top hat, and this happened. And this is one of those ones where you're like very, very motivated, and like you have this clear image in your head that like just wants to get out on paper. It's really difficult to emulate that. My Finn, as I mentioned, I am very much inspired by Adventure Time. I think my dream would be to be part of a production like Adventure Time, although at this point in time I don't think I'm going to be changing careers. And it's a weird random one. It's like a Ken. I just yeah, it's a weird one. Weird. This one is just a couch. I think I just wanted to draw something, was very art blocked and had no idea, and yeah. This one is not great, but I really like it. This is based on one of the stories in Earthsea trilogy. I think it's the 3rd book. I don't remember what the name of the book was, but that is like, I think, my favorite out of all the Earthsea books, where the woman main character, like, there's this little girl who's burnt half face, and she takes care of the kid, and they come across some troubles, and I just loved that story. This one's also sort of out of place, out of style for me. I think I was just trying to giving new stuff a try. Probably it might have been inspired by some art I was looking at the time, but I don't think this is my thing. But I would still want to be able to incorporate it in small amounts in my art. This one's a little one that I really like as well. Looks very cozy. Yeah, but it's just a girl napping on a cat napping. Simple as that. This one must have been 2022 as well. Let's see, 2022, yep. Yeah, and that is it. So I have one full sketchbook as well. That's it. All right, thank you for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed watching it. Let me know which art you liked and if you have any suggestions for me to improve my art. Thank you, and I hope I see you around. Take care. Bye.